What happened to the children of Ravenswood on that fateful night? The question has haunted the small town for years, casting a shadow over its otherwise peaceful existence. Ravenswood, a quaint village nestled in the heart of a dense forest, was known for its close-knit community and serene landscapes. But that tranquility was shattered one summer evening when a group of children vanished without a trace. The answer lies in the old abandoned mine. This mine, once a bustling hub of activity, had been closed for decades due to a series of unexplained accidents. The townsfolk spoke in hushed tones about the mine, believing it to be cursed. Despite the warnings, the children were drawn to its eerie allure, their curiosity getting the better of them. It was a typical summer evening, with the sun setting and crickets chirping. The golden hues of the sunset bathed the countryside in a warm glow, creating a picturesque scene. The children, full of energy and excitement, decided to explore the woods, unaware of the danger that awaited them. The children were playing in the woods, exploring an old mine that had been closed for decades. They laughed and shouted, their voices echoing through the trees. The mine, with its dark, gaping entrance, seemed like the perfect place for an adventure. Little did they know it would be their last. But as night fell, they didn't return. The parents, growing increasingly worried, formed search parties and ventured into the woods, calling out their children's names. The forest, which had seemed so inviting during the day, now felt menacing and foreboding. The searchers' flashlights cut through the darkness, but there was no sign of the children. Frantic parents formed search parties, calling out their children's names. Nothing. The silence was deafening, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves or the distant hoot of an owl. As the hours passed, hope began to wane, replaced by a growing sense of dread. Days turned into dread-filled nights. The once vibrant town was now cloaked in an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. The parents, their faces etched with worry, clung to the hope that their children would be found. But as the days turned into weeks, that hope began to fade. Whispers spread about a curse of a malevolent spirit awakened by the children's curiosity. The townsfolk, desperate for answers, began to believe that the mine was haunted. Stories of ghostly apparitions and strange noises circulated, adding to the town's growing unease. One stormy night, a group of brave teenagers decided to uncover the truth. They were determined to find out what had happened to the missing children, even if it meant facing the unknown. Armed with flashlights and a sense of resolve, they made their way to the mine. They entered the mine with laughter, but it quickly turned to silence as they delved deeper. The air grew colder, and the darkness seemed to close in around them. The mine, with its narrow tunnels and eerie atmosphere, was a far cry from the adventurous playground they had imagined. Strange noises echoed, whispers, creaks, groans. The teenagers exchanged nervous glances, their bravado beginning to wane. The mine seemed to be alive, its walls reverberating with the sounds of the past. Every step they took seemed to bring them closer to something sinister. Their lights flickered and died. Panic set in as they were plunged into darkness. The mine, already disorienting, now felt like a labyrinth. The teenagers huddled together, their breaths coming in short, fearful gasps. In the pitch black, they found an old door behind debris. It was heavy and covered in dust as if it hadn't been touched in years. The door seemed to beckon them, promising answers but also danger. It creaked open to reveal a narrow stairway descending into the earth. The air grew colder still, and a sense of foreboding filled the air. The teenagers hesitated, but a strange, almost hypnotic hum urged them forward. Hesitation filled the air, but a growing hum urged them forward. The sound was both alluring and terrifying, pulling them deeper into the mine. They descended the stairs, each step echoing in the silence. The air turned icy cold. Their breaths formed misty clouds in the frigid air. The deeper they went, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. It felt as if the mine itself was watching them, waiting for the right moment to strike. Suddenly, the stairs shook, the humming stopped, and there were voices. The voices were faint at first, barely audible over the sound of their own breathing. But as they listened, the voices grew louder, more desperate. Faint at first, then louder, the missing children calling for help. The realization hit them like a punch to the gut. The voices were those of the missing children, trapped somewhere in the depths of the mine. The teenagers' fear turned to determination as they pressed on, hoping to find their friends. Paralyzed with fear, the teens tried to run, but their feet were rooted to the spot. It was as if an invisible force was holding them in place, preventing them from escaping. The voices grew louder, more insistent, filling the air with a cacophony of sound. The voices became a deafening chorus. The sound was overwhelming, drowning out their thoughts and filling them with a sense of dread. The mine seemed to pulse with energy, the walls vibrating with the force of the voices. Then darkness swallowed them whole. The mine, which had seemed so solid and real, now felt like a nightmare. The teenagers were enveloped in darkness, their screams echoing through the tunnels. The next morning, search parties found only their phones and flashlights outside the mine. The items were scattered as if dropped in a hurry. The searchers called out, their voices echoing in the empty mine, but there was no response. The teens were never seen again. The town was left in mourning, their grief compounded by the mystery of the mine. The parents, their hearts broken, could only wonder what had happened to their children. Ravenswood is left haunted by one question. What horrors lurk in the depths of the abandoned mine? And will anyone dare to face them again? The mine, once a symbol of prosperity, was now a place of fear and sorrow. The townsfolk avoided it, their fear of the unknown keeping them away. What horrors lurk in the depths of the abandoned mine, and will anyone dare to face them again? The question remains unanswered, a dark cloud hanging over Ravenswood. The mine, with its secrets and its shadows, continues to haunt the town, a reminder of the children who were lost and the mystery that remains unsolved.